Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's a beautiful day and I have some coffee. I'm actually cheating a little bit because I put some milk and sugar in it. But today feels like a milk and sugar day. A little too much milk, I think. So, how is everybody doing today? Let me get the the chat up and loaded and we can get off to the races today, yeah? Yeah. Pop out the chat. Select. Copy. And chat scroll properties. Okay. Alright, and chat is live, and we already have people in here. Wow. Good morning! Let's see. Good morning, Ken, and good morning, Alan. How are you guys doing today? I'm going to get this shared around so maybe we can get some people and some engagement in here and, yeah, get some stuff rolling. I think it's the weather, but my neck has been seizing up like you wouldn't believe. $183 of these things. Kind of wild, isn't it? So let's see. So I do have two projects to do this morning. First one is fixing this belt clip. Normally I wear this knife. This is a really nice knife, by the way. Super easy to open, nice wide blade, slight recurve so it really bites in when you're cutting things. And it fits perfectly in my kilt right on my belly. Sorry, I have a frog in my throat. But I was sliding past something and I got the belt, the clip caught. And when it's compressed nice, it's nice to hold, but when it's out, it bugs me. So we're going to take this off and try and readjust it. Let's see. Alan replaced the thermostat in the bedroom yesterday, so back to using the baseboard in the bedroom. Nice. I bet that feels lovely. So yeah, that's the first project to do today. And the second one is I need to design a set of pouches to be engraved. And I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work. These are nice. I almost got the 3D printer working. Almost. However, this quick release coupling here, I need to get there's that white tube that's on it. Do I have the old one? Yeah. So you got this white tube, Teflon tube coming out, right? And this tube needs to go in here all the way and pretty much butt up to the end. And this coupling is supposed to lock onto it. And I can't get it to work. And if that can't work, then this thing won't be a 3D printer. Just be a spaghetti monster. I'm wondering if I can just buy another one of these. They make it look so easy on the website. But that's also probably because the one I have works. So I need to find one of those and order it. And then I'll have a 3D printer again. Huzzah. So Ken, you sent me a couple photos. You were smart this time. Sending the pictures before. Oh, Jesus. So that's the failure you're talking about, huh? That's pretty rough. Beauty is in the eye of the beer holder. FJB. Sent them early so we didn't run into the same problem. Very smart. Little doobly-doos. Ooh, I like these. Like, I like the color on them, but I also like I like those. Those are really cool. I like it looks like a old bronze color. I know it's probably supposed to be gold, but it looks like an old bronze on these. Very nice. And these turned out really nice. The Christmas ones. But yeah, that failure. Yeah. I mean, you can shoot it out of a cannon. Give someone a Christmas headache. Yikes. Yeah, the only thing I can think of to address that would be a slush cast, and then like gently placing things. Because otherwise, I mean, hey, I don't know. It's a major failure, but I can't bring myself to throw it away. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure what I would do in that situation either. Because, like, there's always something you can do. Or it feels like there's always something you can do. But I also end up keeping a lot of my failures. Now, this is just a personal thing. I keep a lot of my failures and I put them up kind of as a daily reminder or monthly reminder, however often I end up looking at the thing, of mistakes to not make, and it kind of keeps my brain working in a certain way. I think too many people are failure adverse, and I think that's the biggest problem with a lot of makers is they are too afraid to fail, and I don't think that's such a bad thing, because if you don't fail, it means you've really never tried anything. Probably not the best thing to do to be beating on it with That's not going to fix that curve. I'm probably going to have to throw this into the forge and tweak it. That did set it back down quite a bit. But it's still flayed out. So I think the issue, it's got to be hard to show, but the issue isn't necessarily this curve here, it's this curve here. Maybe. Maybe I can do something about that. Stay right here just a second. Good morning from the laundromat. Ooh. So we're fixing a knife today, and I'm gonna do something a little crazy, a little stupid, but I need to grab my jewelry kit, and so just bear with me just 1 second. Good morning, Anthony. I am so organized that I am still not unpacked from my craft fair. But that might be okay. Wasn't really a craft fair. Apparently it's a gaming club sponsorship. So I was sponsoring the Penn State gaming club. So I didn't do so well my first round. But I know why. None of my stuff was really gaming related. So here's what we're going to try and do. We're going to try and heat up that little section. I'm going to have my hemostat so I don't burn the living piss out of my fingers. And we're going to try and tweak it because there's just two small little itty bitty flanges of metal there. There we go. Yep. This is where the fun happens. see chat's coming in. I will do that for you in just a second. I think we got it. Do I have any water down here? Old coffee? Old coffee. Old coffee for the win. Okay, questions. Questions. The board stock, I guess it's called, that you display your earrings on. Alright, so the ones I got, and I actually have one here because it broke. So like this guy here. Let me get a light on it. I need to get like a ring light or something that faces me. So like this guy here. Is that what you're talking about, Ken? I actually laser cut these myself. This is just a heavyweight cardboard. Do I have any over here? That's foam. I know I have a whole ream of it somewhere. It is... It's just this stuff. I think I get it from I think I got this from Michael's or something. The thing is, it's all struck through, which is nice because it means it's a solid color all the way through. So normal paper, is called 20-pound paper. I don't know why. I don't know that what it refers to. I guess a ream of it is 20 pounds or so many sheets or whatever. But normal paper is super flimsy. And I actually do make packaging out of this paper. This is the Pastels color from Staples. But so this is thicker like cardstock, struck through. I think I got this from Michael's, but I just designed a quick thing in for my laser cutter, and yeah, it was super fast, and I think I can cut like 15 or 20 of them out a minute. If you want, we can design something. And I can get you a bulk pricing on them, because if you're doing earrings or whatever, and the reason I chose black for this, I have gray for my coal necklaces. I chose black for this because it gives you the highest contrast. Where did I set it? I'm setting it down here somewhere. But the black gives you the highest contrast. There's also gray stuff, you know, and different colors. For yours, I think probably black would probably be the best. And we can definitely get together and work out a design, and I can see how fast and how many I can cut, and we can get like a bulk pricing for that. But wouldn't be much. It'd be like 10 or 15 cents a pop, I think. So yeah, so we got it fixed. Now if we can just get the screws in. It's always the part that I struggle with the most. Sounds like a plan. You know, having holders also makes it just look a lot more professional. And if it looks more professional, usually people are more apt to buy it. It makes me happy when a plan comes together. I mean, it's a little warped at the top, but who cares? I can still get my pants in there. All right. And this little torch, good morning, Jill. This little torch was such a great, great little investment. I got it primarily for soldering wires, because having it gas powered, it means I can solder wires whether or not I have power. Sometimes the reason you're soldering the wire is because you don't have power. So it's very nice. And I can take this out on the road with me and do some pretty cool stuff, you know, out and about. Burns-O-Matic. Well, the downside to this is, oh, here it is. The downside to this is that you have to have your butane with you, but big deal. So yeah, Ken, here's how I have it here. Recovering from a wee bit too much mead last night. So I have it so that it has the two holes for the earring studs. It has a hole to hang things from. You know, I can put your logo or whatever there. I have it so that it has you know, my name down at the bottom. And at the top, the price tag. But the good thing about that price tag is I have it perforated. So when you buy something and you don't want your significant other to know how much you spent, there you go. So they're pretty good, pretty useful things. But yeah, this, I'd recommend this 10 times out of 10. Unless you're doing like hobbyist electronics only. But there are so many applications of having just a torch or a thing to do heat shrink tubing. You know, it's a soldering iron as well, but it's also a you know, wood burner. Or a really strange cigar lighter, if you're so inclined. Definitely worth it, though. It's funny how many little things I have. And I've all me tools and shit I've collected over the years. It's wild. But yeah, first project of the day done. Look at that. That's a nice snap too. I think that might actually be a little bit tighter than when I got it. And yep, feels good in the hand again. I won't carry a knife if it doesn't feel good in my hand. No matter how utilitarian it is, no matter how good the blade is, if it doesn't feel good in my hand, I won't carry it. And this is a really nice knife. I really enjoy this knife. So I was actually pretty upset when I bent that clip out. All right, a little bit more than a little upset. But it's a story for a different day. And something stronger than coffee. But yeah, Ken, you should like come up with like a little logo for your company or a maker's mark. Like I use a maker's mark, but like get a logo or something together. Oh, and here's the result from my attempt at doing laser art last week. That failed miserably. You know, that's attempt number one, or that's attempt number one there, and it just cut all the way through. Ooh, Alan, you have something to show me. Let's show the class. Ooh, it's coming through. Look at that. Getting ready for that flogger. I love the color of that leather. I don't have much application for it, but that color is gorgeous. Almost everyone wants something black from me. So, anyways, I decided to do a burn test. And then I almost burned through, all the way through at 24 inches per minute and 100% power. It almost burned all the way through. So I think that might be a bit too much. So I scaled things back. And I got this. So still too much. And I think what I might have to, I'm going to play with this myself off camera, maybe later today or something. But I think what I'm going to have to do is trace, going through and do a trace of whatever image, and then mess with the color schemes and such. Mess with all the color schemes and do fill patterns like that. For whatever reason, there was a guy I was following on YouTube, and he had all these great ideas, and his stuff turned out great. He did like a Balrog, and whew, very nice. But yeah, it just wasn't working for me. For some reason, I don't know why. So I'm probably going to give that a try later today. But what I'm going to be doing today is and I'm at least going to be designing it, is a thingamajigger, a set of pouches. They're supposed to be like roughly medieval styled, but have like line 20 snaps on them. The guy wants them 3 by 4. We've settled on doing a drawstring top and then a flap that comes over and snaps. We're gonna have art on this part that snaps. So I think we'll design that today. But yeah, Ken, here I can show you. God. small earring holder. Design screen. And I mean, this is all I have. Name fill, number fill, price fill. You got your cuts on the outside, and then you have your perforation. It's nice and simple. It's only, how long does this take to cut? I mean, this takes an hour to cut, but I consider the time that the laser, I don't count the time that the laser is running as working time, just design time and the time I have to fiddle with it. So my prices are pretty reasonable, I think. And then we can show you it just goes through and does the engravings nice and neat. I mean, and when you go through and you do different colors of paper and stuff, obviously all the stuff changes on it, but it's all very simple stuff. So. And really, is there any such a thing as too much mead? Come on, Jill. So, new. So I think the way we have to do it is I need to make the front of the pouch, and I need to make the whole back of the pouch first. The whole outside of it. So let's look on the great googly moogly and see what we can find here. That's a nice pouch. Ooh, I could design that for I could design dice bags too. Oh, that was the thing I was trying to get at earlier with the craft fair. So it was for the gaming club. So what I think I need to do is switch my focus from the spooky stuff to gaming supplies. So like we can do some gaming pouches and stuff like that. So I think a nice dice bag would work nicely. Yeah, something like that, like a little dice bag, or maybe we'll do some dice towers. That'll probably work out rather nicely. Get some really cool designs and slap them on there. So I think that's going to be the next large laser project I undertake, is designing these dice towers. Pretty close to the one I want to design, but not quite. Yeah, it's the same price point. Look at that. But he wants it all black. So we're gonna forego. Ooh, that one's pretty. There are so many pretty leather crafting projects. I feel remiss for going the more utilitarian route some days. Yeah, a lot of really pretty things on here. It just kind of sucks that I have to compete with the entire internet, price-wise, you know? Because that makes things a little difficult to price out. There we go. There we go. That's kind of the one I want to do. Sort of. So I need to find a suede, I think, or a really light chrome tan leather for the body of the pouch to make it good drawstring type pouch, and then have the body, the back, and the flap something heavier. I think that's what we'll do. Yeah. And I don't know about you, but I really enjoy the mental aspect of going through and working out projects and figuring out projects. Because it's as much about finding the right material and the right design as it is implementing it. And, you know, once you get to a certain point, you're like, ooh, I could do this, or oh, I could do that. And getting all those different ideas in my head is fun, because you're just exploring all these different possibilities. But yeah, I really need to find the right leather to do this. I wish I had that old leather coat, because that would be perfect, especially for this one design I just found. Not that one. I mean, that's not a bad one, but not that one. Where did I find it? I don't know. I'll find it again. But the biggest thing would be getting the design he wants on the front of it. Now he's doing some sort of magic type thing, and he wants to be able to contain the magic of whatever he's doing in this pouch, which is why he wants it as a drawstring and a snap. Which, hey, I can respect that. Why not? If he wants to do the thing, let him do the thing. I'm just here to facilitate the madness. Ooh, potion carriers. Those are nice. I could definitely do that. I also think it'd be cool to do a living hinge type closure. like a wooden living hinge type closure on like a bag or something, but have it backed with fabric to give it more stability, and so it's not so prone to breaking. I think that could be a lot of fun. That could be a really cool project too. I also want to make those Viking purses. I think those would go over really nicely. Have like a nice like heavy duty purse body sewn onto those wooden slats that close the purse itself under weight. I think I could do something really pretty with those too. Yeah. And it's all about like finding the right way to do something. Good morning. Hey Mick, good morning. How we doing today? But yeah, it's all about finding the right material for it. And I don't think I have the right leather to do the body of that pouch. Maybe I do. So I have this leather that my grandma, oh, alright, so my grandma had these nice couches. Like I grew up rich, right? Family owned their own business, and my grandma got these really nice couches. They built a little mansion up in the mountains, and so they bought these super nice couches. And then 13 years passed, and the business failed. And they downsized to a different, to a smaller house. They sold the mansion, and it was, I look dashing today. Thank you. It's the camera. You can't see all the imperfections and the ugliness up close. And so they had to sell everything in these couches. They, my grandma loved these couches. They just took these couches with them. After a while, and another like 5 years, 8 years, 10, I think it was closer to 10 years, those couches they were in pretty rough shape. So I ended up skinning the couches. Because leather was still good, right? And they were all this high quality white leather. So it's all chrome tan, but it's heavier than garment weight. The upholstery weight is a little bit heavier than garment weight. Be nice to my friend Christopher. No. So anyways, I think if I use that leather, I might, because it's white, I might be able to dye it black. Scrub it really good down with some acetone to remove all of as much of the existing dye as I can. Because I have a whole big black vat of dye. The Phoebing's Pro dye. I think I can definitely use this. Yeah, so even clean the leather thoroughly with Phoebing's deglazer to remove all old polish and finish. And since he wants it black, I mean, should be able to do that pretty easily, I think. And then that also give the bags a bit of history as well. And I think that would be kind of nice. Anytime I can give something that is trash a new life, I enjoy it, especially if it looks good. Like if it looks like junk, I don't want to put it out there. But if it looks good and I'm able to recycle it and tell my client the history of some of the stuff that went into making their new product, I think that adds that adds to the impact, and obviously the value, but the impact that item will have in their life. So now you know the story of how I got all that obscene amount of white leather. It's kind of a sad memory. Not necessarily sad. Melancholy, I guess. Because I remember being a little kid, and playing on those couches too. And my grandparents had all this acreage and all these woods, and I became friends with the neighbors, and we used to go paintballing and sword fighting and camping and adventuring all out in these woods. So I think being able to take some of that, and I don't know how much I believe in it, but maybe it's just wishful thinking, but maybe some of that adventuring transferred some of that energy, some of that happiness from those days into that leather. Maybe that's why I kept it. Not just to be a hoarder. Yeah, it definitely wasn't just to be a leather hoarder. No. And I can push that forward into the world. Just random thoughts. But I think that'd be a good idea, Do a little something fun with it. Because otherwise, if you don't... Here's the thing about materials. If you don't do anything with them, they go to waste. And even if you make a mistake, it's not a waste, as long as you're learning and experimenting and trying new stuff. Otherwise, I would have made a lot of mistakes. I still make a lot of mistakes, but I try and learn and fail forward, I guess, is the job market jargon or industry jargon or whatever. The platitude, fail forward. It's actually the first mask I made was from that leather, because it was middle of the pandemic, so I couldn't really get anything, but I had a ton of this stuff on hand, so I made it, even though it's a chrome tan leather, so it's not really meant for I remember a lot of crashes and bangs as we broke those couches down. Yeah, they were really, I think you threw your anvil. I did. They were super well made couches. I mean, the internals of them were all oak. So, I mean, they were pretty heavy duty things. They were very well made. Yeah, I definitely threw an anvil at them. I remember that. Like most couches you buy are essentially 2x4s and plywood on the inside. They're super easy and fast to make. I was actually toying around with the idea of making a few couches. But at the time I didn't have a sewing machine, so to do the upholstery would have been a nightmare, and I shelved that project a while ago. Maybe I'll revive it. But yeah, they were super well made. So, yeah, actually, those are the couches I had in my first apartment. So, a lot of good times on those couches, but as all things, they eventually, I think those couches lasted like 25 years. 23 of them, they were in decent condition. But those last 2 years, they kind of started breaking down pretty quickly. It's what broke down wasn't the leather or the superstructure. It was all of the it was the padding inside of the cushions, and it was because that's just a crappy synthetic foam shit, and it was the ribbing that ran across the superstructure that the pads sat on, and even in good couches and bad couches, those are the two things that go first. And a lot of times you can fix that. Like you can take, if you can repair the upholstery, as long as the superstructure is good, you can rip off that center section and get new webbing, and you can put webbing across it with just a good staple gun. And as long as you weave it and you hold it and you pull it tight, it should last for a good long while. And the padding on the inside is a little bit more difficult, but you essentially can just take, you can go buy new foam, and then you take a spray adhesive and you wrap that with, I forget what they call it, but it's a really crappy type of cotton mat, and that acts as a abrasion resistor between the foam and the upholstery. And you can restuff couches. You can do a pretty good job of it too. It's not that hard, and it revitalizes the furniture. So those are the two big things about couches that you can do to freshen them up and get another 5 or 10 years out of them. But I didn't have the equipment to do that at the time, and we were moving. So it was like, well, we could put them in storage, and I think we did for a little while, and they started getting moldy. That's when we cut them up and got rid of them. But it lasted about 25 years. So they were pretty good couches. That's pretty good leather. So I think I might end up making those bags out of that leather. Unless I can find an upholstery or a garment weight leather, lying around here that I can use. I don't think I have any though. So a lot of small things. But the body of it, so that'd be the bag part, but I still have to figure out the body of it, which, since he wants belt loops on it and laser engraving, I'm going to use thicker leather. I think that thin white leather I have over there, it's like a 2 to 3 ounce. I use it a lot for prototyping things, and I used it to line the outside of my boot, those reindeer boots, with it, so it accepts black dye really easily, and for being so thin, it is rather tough. So I think that might be something I do too. And then I'll just use 2 pieces of something thicker, probably this guy, to do the actual belt loops themselves, because this will always hold. This will never stretch out or get crappy. This is like, what, 6 or 7 ounce? What's the thickness we got on this guy? Quarter. It was about 3/8 thick. I've actually made the soles of a lot of shoes out of these. Actually, I have one on here that I need to trace out for my other shoe. Do I have that over here? It's somewhere in the range of crap that I have strewn about here. I really needed like 5 or 6 or 10 days just down here organizing and throwing things out. I also need to build like a shelving unit to help stack and organize things, but that's a project for another day. Let's see. Alan should have the flogger all buttoned up today. Ooh, you gotta send me pictures. That thing, with that blue leather, that is going to be a stunning piece. I actually saw one that I think I might try and just throw up just for shits and giggles. But it was the ends of the flogger were all Halloween things. So you had like witches' hats and pumpkins and bats and stuff, and they're all tied off to a thing. So I might try that just for giggles. I think that might be pretty fun. I can't wait to see yours though. I think that'll be really cool. But yeah, I think today I'm also going to try and design some gaming specific things for the next time I do that gaming club sponsorship. Just so that I think that would be the best way to maximize my time there, because you know what I had, while it was good, it wasn't themed to the event. Also, I like making a lot of these tiny rings, but they're a little time consuming. So I think I'm going to make a jig so that I know exactly how much wire to cut, right? Because I spent 20 years doing these things by hand, and basically with just a pair of pliers like this, and it works. But I think if I can make a jig that I can get the wire the right length, right, and just crimp it, because it has to have an S pattern to it. That way you can like resize it to bigger and smaller fingers. I could do them pretty quickly, because the idea is it's something that's less than $1. One craft fair, what I was doing to get sales and to get people to come over, is I was making these rings, and as kids would walk by, I would throw them at the kid. And then, the kid got something free, so the parent would have to come over and say, thank you, and oh wow, actually you have some pretty nice stuff. Oh, can I buy that? How much is that? So it worked out pretty good, even though I was kind of like assaulting the crowd. But doing those by hand is it's a pain. It's a pain in the butt. Actually, the last craft fair I was at, that Penn State one, I actually made three or four rings, and I made some money on them. The cheap ones I just freehanded, I was doing for $1, and the ones that they asked for a specific design, I did $5, and everybody was happy. So maybe I'll do that too. But I think having a range or a collection of those, dollar rings or 50-cent rings. Like 50 cents, who cares? You can put it on and it breaks in 3 weeks. You throw it out. It was 50 cents. It was $1. Whatever. No one cares. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll try and design that this week. And just a little tool to crimp things up, and then you just super glue the ends. You trim the ends and you super glue them into a little glass bead. Yeah. Everyone seems to enjoy that, so maybe that's what I'll do. Anyways, guys, my hour is up. So, if you like seeing what I do here, and you like hearing me ramble and stuff, go over to Patreon. Awesome, I saw that. Yeah, right. Go over to patreon.com/Knightsmith. Even $1 a month helps. I am going to be talking about a special project I'm going to be doing on there, and my patrons are going to have a step-by-step, the entire process of conceptualization. And everything else. And it's a very specialty apron designed to help protect you from kickback and stuff like that, and heavy impacts, while still being super flexible. I think it's going to be a really cool build. Even if I don't sell one, it'll be super cool. I never get enough sleep. I'm always tired. But the patrons, the $1 a month patrons, will get access to that information. And the higher tier patrons, the $5 and $10 patrons, will get swatches of the fabric that I'm working on. And it'll be like a liquid armor impregnation type thing, so it's not just going to be fabric, it's going to be special. So go over to patreon.com/Knightsmith. $1 a month gets you in the door, and then we could work on that. And I really appreciate it. My patrons are super awesome guys and girls, and yeah. So there's that. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all that happy jazz, and see you all next week. Thank you for helping me make this world better, one kerf at a time. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.